What up? What up? Welcome back in. Here we go. Happy Monday to everybody out there. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's pre-gaming here on Sports Money. We're grinding through this summer. We're on our way. We had a grind on Friday. We got a new week. We got new money to stack up. We already got some cash in the bank out there with that women's tennis over 2.5. Sadly, the Toronto Blue Jays, man, what a beatdown there in the process of taking 11-4. And it's still not over yet, but appreciate you guys all coming in to hang out today. We got lots of things happening. You already know the deal. Lots of great things happening out there. We got MMA Jeff to come in here. He's going to give us a recap, talk about the week ahead as he does. He's got a best bet for you guys as well. And then you'll see along the column on the right what we're going to knock down here and talk about tonight. We got the Twins and Mets action, Seattle and Boston. We got some Texas and Cardinals action. We've got Kansas City and the White Sox. That was one I had to sit back and think a little bit about. I want to make sure I wasn't falling into the pit. Then we got the Pirates and the Astros. We're going to close it off. I got a little parlay for everybody out there as well. Little same game, or not a same game parlay, excuse me, but we do have action. It's a little 3-hitter parlay tonight. 3 RBIs. 3 of my favorite spots on the card tonight. I'm excited to share that with you guys. A little plus 1450 to put a cap on this thing at the end and get that money. Hope you guys are all doing well. As I said, here we are these dog days of summer, but it's Monday. It's July 29th, 6 p.m. It's Sports Money, and we are on the grind. Excited to get into it with you guys out there. Listen, last week, Friday was a grind. Going through it real quick here, we cashed that Minnesota over 7.5. No problem there. Texas first 5 was plus 104. We got that money. We did lose the full game, Texas, though. They won the first 5. They lost the full game. We won the first 5 with the over in Boston 4.5, but we lost on the Yankees in that game out there. Boston came out and got the job done. The Dodgers, the first 5 under 4.5 cash for us. It was a 4-run first 5, but the Dodgers blew it overall in that game. The Arizona parlay, the sister giving up them panties to grandma. Arizona minus 1.5 and the under did not hit. But if you played that Arizona and under, it was plus 198. You did cash. And then, of course, the CFL. I'll tell you what, quietly having ourselves a little run here. I believe it's now 4 straight since I had dropped that first play here on the show. Got one on Sunday. Got one yesterday as well. We gave that out live on Saturday. We gave that Toronto spot out live as well. And so we're just doing what we're doing. Grind it. Not every day is a banger, but that was a plus day, and we will take it and we will move on. Does feel like there's a lot of great things happening out here with Sports Money. We'll talk a little bit about First Strike. We know what our guy Jay Peasy's doing. Happy belated birthday again to our guy Jay Peasy. He's running hot. Joe T's running hot out there. He's got the F you're under play of the day, but he's not giving it to us today. He's looking to go 9 straight, but he's not giving it to us today. He's playing that game. He's going to tease you guys a little bit and get you excited about him releasing hopefully tomorrow. Let's see what's going on in the chat. There's my guy Justin McKelvey with the stacks play of the day. He's ready to go. He likes a little Randy Arozarena over 1.5 bases. Welcome to the new squad. Arozarena got traded, of course, from Tampa Bay on over to Seattle and should be making his debut tonight. Be a lot of fun to see what happens out there with Randy Arozarena over 1.5 bases in that game. We got our guy Deer Slayer Ski in the house there. He says, making money with Mikey. Let's go. He says, Molly Meatball killed me this weekend. But full transparency, got most back with Bilal. So only dropped a little over 2 units. Ammo ready to fire to grind. They're not all going to be bangers. As long as we can stay in the fight, we'll make it right. You guys know that already. Here we go with our guy Juggler 23 bringing in some trends of the day. Milwaukee much better in the minus 120 to plus 135 line range. Starter Colin Reyes 17-3 over the last 2 seasons. You guys remember we talked about the 111s. There's a little bit more expanding upon that when they're off a loss minus 111 to plus 111. We know they're hammer spots. And Juggler 23 is giving a little more support to bang it on this Milwaukee team here. Also, he says Jose Quintana, 16-3, up 12 units. The line in the shorter line favorite, there's a little range for him as well, minus 120 to minus 135 over the last 5 seasons. Jose Quintana making some things happen out there. Makes me scratch my head. But hey, Jose Quintana in a spot tonight, 16-3. Terrell Jones in the house says, what up, pimpin' ain't easy crew? Best bet for our guy. Terrell Jones coming in here. He's giving you the Diamondbacks run line, full game. You guys want to make sure you write these plays down as they go throughout the evening. We're asking you guys to share your best plays out there in the chat as well so we can recognize each and every one of you guys and how you're looking to get that cash after we've sat on this card all day trying to figure out our best bets out there. Gerardo Hernandez says, we're here. My phone is blowing up. Let me push that over there. Joey Harb's in the house. Kenny Wood, Justin McKelvey, Rodney M. says, what up, Mike? Who you like tomorrow, Canada or Spain? I got to look on that women's soccer game. Speaking of Spain, we'll see. New Jersey Striker, NJ Striker says, hey, Mike, great call on the Ticats, brother. That was a little yesterday's magic, NJ Striker. We got easy winner for them boys out there, and we got the 3 points in our back pocket. Juggler23 says, how about that UFC? We killed it again. First 5-unit play of the year cashes easily with Patty the Batty. Man, I'll tell you, that card was tricky. Started out not great. Finished excellent. Made some good money on that thing as well. Coin says, yo, Mikey and chat, let's have a Monday. He's giving his best bet there. Coin likes the Cubs. Little Cubs money in his pocket. Voodoo Rangers in the house. He likes Alec Marsh to get the win at plus 120. Justin McKelvey says plus 1450 LFG. You already know it, my guy. You see it there on the screen. We're going to get to it already. Excited for this action here. We're trying to have some fun with these things. You know, we might as well start doing a little parlay of the day. Sometimes we got them grandma wearing your sister's panties again spots. And I think when we see this card today jumped out at me with some of these hitting props, and I'll tell you guys exactly what I like and why I like it. Jerry Davis says, yo, what up, Mikey? What up, Jerry Davis, my guy? Wide Time Sports checking in out there from the West Coast. Julian Cesario says, what up, pimp? Best time for a show. Let's get it, fam. Appreciate that, dude. It's a grind, but we get all day to look at it, so we better do it right. You know the deal already. Voodoo Ranger KC team total over 5.5 at plus 110. I'm going to share a spot with you guys in that, but kind of looks on both sides. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys about that here shortly. AOD's in the house, my guy. It's good to see you. Hey, yo, there's Nasty Nate. Got the wrench, the mechanic in the house. Says, what up? What up, Nasty Nate? Hope you had a fun time at that carnival. Looked like you guys were doing your thing. AOD says, my favorite uncle. Keith, each every stride says, happy Monday, Mike. Great day to cash. I had a blast on Saturday. Fun times. We love having Keith coming out there rocking with us. We get the straps in play. We caught ourselves what was that, 110 to 1? I can't remember if it was 110 to 1 or not. I know paid nicely. Felt good. And Justin McKelvey says, no, Randy already made it. Oh, okay. I missed it. I missed his debut. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? I don't know. Ricky Bobby's in the house. It's great to see my guy, Ricky Bobby. And here we go. Jerry Davis got Yankees over 3.5 team total. Parade with a plus 1.5 out there. All right, let's go. Little Yankee spot. I heard Liverpool Football Club will be in attendance tonight. Lots of things happening with that. That's a big spot tonight. It's a real big spot. Nasty Nate says, hit the like or get out. You either hit the like or Nasty Nate's going to hit you with one of that arsenal of wrenches he's got out there. It's great to see him rocking here. Julian Cesario says, Juggler23 called it. Patty, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Justin McKelvey says, what if Brewers are minus 111? Serious or minus 117? I think I got a Brewers trend that I'll talk to you guys about when we get there. Rodney M's in the house is my bad. I mean, Greece versus Spain men's basketball. I see, said the blind man to the deaf piano player. I took a beating with Spain last game. It's now plus 4, and it's juiced to Spain. I don't know. I got to sit on that a little bit. I will keep my eyes on it. There's 4 big games tomorrow: Greece and Spain, Australia, Canada, France and Japan, and Germany and Brazil. So we'll talk about that. We'll see what happens. Markel's out there. He says, yo, what up, Markel? Voodoo Rangers is feeling a future play on St. Louis live. After 6 innings, Eovaldi is out. Texas bullpen is worked. St. Louis money line or plus runs, depending on the score. Let's go. Markel says, hold up. What's plus 1450? The 3-leg RBI prop I got for you guys today, Markel. He's on KC minus 2.5. Here we go. Jeffrey Blue with the Blue Balls play of the day. I haven't seen Jeffrey Blue checking in a minute. It's good to see him. Lourdes, bases out there. Little Lourdes Gariel spot for our guy Jeffrey Blue. Dominic Diaz, I saw you earlier. Dominic Diaz checking in on the chat, checking in where you can find out where those UFC plays are going down, my guy. It's great to see you, Dominic Diaz. DJ Hardy says, any thoughts on Blue Jays over second game? Peter Gracias has got a hankering to bet the Yankees-Phillies under. Clint Zerline, he likes Seattle. Money line. Even money line. LFG says out there. And there's Juggler 23. Says, hope to make up for Friday's 4-unit 0-2. Still 38-16 tonight. Plus 110 on the Cards. Bet last night on that spot as well. There's been some movement across Major League Baseball, you guys. We will talk about that. But let's bring in our first guest. I see him back there. Let me just do a little reconfig here. Let's do this. Let's do this. And let's welcome in that dynamic component of First Strike, quickly becoming the best place to get your early fight betting information for the UFC. MMA Jeff, how we doing?
Fantastic. Had another great weekend. And we've got an exciting week coming up as well. We've got heavy fight action on Friday. PFL's rolling. One Championship's rolling. The LFA is rolling, and I'm exceptionally excited about that one because I will be in attendance for that one. So
nice.
Looking forward to Friday night fights. Had a pretty, yeah. Had a pretty, like I said, pretty successful weekend. You know, we rolled on First Strike at 4-0. Sub ended up giving out the Aspinall, who went out there and knocked his head off pretty damn quickly. And he got the Aspinall first, second, and third. He ended up hitting. I know your boy hit with his over, Bukakis there, and RoboCop managed to get it done as well. So certainly, what's that? 3 out of the last 4 weeks we've swept the card, and I would recommend rolling all these picks out there from First Strike into a parlay at the end of the week.
Got fun stuff. 3 sweeps in 4 weeks. What are we, only 6 weeks in on the show? It's a lot of fun to see all that cash, man. It's a lot of fun to break these things down.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had a little bit of a slow start, but we are definitely gaining steam at this point. And this Saturday's UFC card starts at noon. They're fighting over in Abu Dhabi. I believe there's 13 fights on the card. So hopefully we'll see some violence this weekend, a little more than last weekend since there was 8-9 decisions in a row, something like that. Still good fights, though. I saw
there's our guy Jay Peasy checking in. He says, it's the sports betting, bros. What's up, motherfuckers? What's up, Jay Peasy?
Jay Peasy, I was just going to say, you're 9-1 in your last 10, man. Killing it.
Let's go out there. He gave us that solid intro. I got to work on getting the video down for it. Again, we got ourselves a nice little intro, the Jay Peasy special. He even got a shout out to Grandma wearing the sister's panties in there, Jeff. What do you make of that?
That was very, very creative. I like it. I think we played that thing 3 or 4 times Saturday.
Cocktails were certainly flying. I mentioned to Razor about the panty bet, but he had a short memory. He didn't remember anything about any panty bets out there, so you'll have to check back in with him. Jay Peasy says, 9-2 now. Oh, Jay Peasy, get the fuck out. No, man. Hell of a run our guy Jay Peasy's been on. We got our guy Joe T on a hell of a run as well. 8 straight for him, trying to go for number 9. UFC's been humming along nicely for us. We got a lot of things happening with First Strike. Boys will be making a special guest appearance this week over there with our guy Lou Betcha. He's got a fun little prop show that he invited the First Strike crew on, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Jeff, we got some Olympic golf we're going to plug together for you guys as well. Special guest for Olympic golf this week.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing some of the golf breakdown because I think the rounds kick off at like 3:40 in the morning. I don't know if that's Thursday or if that's actually Friday morning. I'd have to take a look a little closer, but yeah, looking forward to hearing some breakdowns. Looking forward to digging in a little bit on my end as well because I have yet to fully submerge myself in the Olympic golf, given the fact that we just had a busy UFC 14 fight card. So I haven't yet dabbled in the golf, but I will be certainly doing that here within the next day or so.
Steve Fennerbach breaking some balls. This is 100% all that's allowed here. I commented on it last week, Jeff, and I said it just feels like there's been so many great things happening in the chat. Sharp as a tack, firing off big bombs on a regular basis. We've been working together for a long time now with this chat. Everyone's kind of getting sharp at the right time. And don't look now, but we're turning the corner. The NFL has its Hall of Fame game this week. Little action there between the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. And, man, before you know it, hockey season's going to be back. The summer's going to be behind us here, but we still got a couple good weeks to enjoy and making some cash. And I appreciate you dropping in, just giving us that recap and talking about what's ahead. And you know the deal. Welcome to the show. Let's hear a play of the day. I believe a tough L last week, but you were 50-50. I know you told me you had two choices, and you were like, I think I'm going to go with this one. And,
and go figure the other one. The other one won.
Talk to us. What do you like here tonight on the card? We got a nice big baseball slate. It's Monday. It's trade deadline week, so we do want to kind of proceed with some caution. But, sometimes we'll see situations with trade deadlines where they might be a guy that you made sense that he was going to get traded, but maybe he had friends in the locker room, and it leaves a little bit of a scar or a hole that these guys have to climb out of. So we want to battle cautiously, but I believe you want to talk a little bit about the 7-10 game in the Mets and the Twins.
Is that coming up at 7-10? I thought that was a 6:40 game, but it very well could be 7-10. I was scouring the card looking for a play, and I don't know, this one stood out to me. I'm going to roll with the Twins in this one. Short and sweet. I think they're just going to outplay the Mets tonight. I haven't really watched a whole lot of the Mets this season, but I have caught quite a few Twins games, and I don't know. I think they're going to come out on fire tonight. So I'm going to roll with the Twins on the money line.
I like that look there. We see that it's kind of it's not quite pros versus Joes. We have 73% of the bets on the Mets, but we have 50-50 cash and marginal movement at best. The total is getting steamed, 80% of the bets and 78% of the cash. There's been no movement there, but we look at this thing here. We're starting to see some of these guys coming back in this Twins lineup. So looking to see you get this cash. We got this Minnesota Twin spot. I can see a -102 is the best number that's out there right now. Again, down a little bit from -106, but marginal movement on the Mets side of things as well. So a little split. It looks like you're trying to lean to the sharper bettors there and taking this Minnesota Twin spot. Full game, right?
Full game. Yep, full game.
Excellent. Good work. Good luck. We got a lot going on this week. Any closing thoughts? Where can they find it?
As always, at MMA Jeff 19 on X, and we'll be rolling First Strike again on Wednesday, so you can keep an eye out for that Wednesday evening, and we'll be back Saturday, rocking. Going to be an early one. I'm going to have a late one Friday, being at the LFA, and that's going to be a real rough one for me on Saturday, noon.
Well, pace yourself. We got a lot of things happening. We got a busy week breaking down MMA. We got a lot of spots to jump into and talk about, so looking forward to doing just that. But thanks for coming on. Good luck with your Twins bet. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me. See you guys.
Away we go. Let me reconfigure and let's jump into this card here. I know Jeff busted it down. He's looking at this Minnesota Twins spot today. And I mentioned a little bit about that cash flow and line movement spot, or lack thereof, I guess is probably the better way to look at it. I'm looking at this game. This is where I'm choosing to open the card as well. Just kind of a quick footnote here as we look across this thing. First and foremost, that Blue Jays-Orioles spot, it's the second game of a doubleheader. I would only lean to the over. I don't really even want to get involved again, especially after watching the lack of who the hell saw Eflin coming out and shoving. Guy's been struggling and then some to start this thing off, but I just don't have any interest in that spot. That Yankees and Phillies spot, lots of plays from the fellas in that one. I know our guy Dutch Boy Fresh is looking at that first 5 under. He's expecting these two pitchers to shove. I know our guy Dabby Cab likes this Phillies spot and Bryce Harper. And I know Razor Sharp picks with his gambler's first glance. He came out there. He's looking for the over in the full game of that one. So very much is a house divided. And, in this case here, we've got this KHL player from Russia drafted by the Philadelphia Flyers. He's going out there to make his first pitch debut tonight. We also have, like I mentioned, the Liverpool Football Club will be in full attendance out there. And, both these teams coming off of some tough series. The Phillies and Cleveland spot out there. Phillies really didn't come to perform the way I thought they would. And frankly, the best team in the NL versus the best team in the AL, they did not come out there. Now they've lost, I believe, 4 series in a row, these Phillies. The Yankees, Sunday night special out there against them Red Sox. And they kicked the shit out of them, right? But certainly had the over. And now we're looking at this game. We got 78% of the bets, but only 49% of the cash on the Phillies. This line's dropped almost 20 cents from minus 154 down to minus 135. It's a big drop. And then the total hasn't moved at nines. If anything, you could argue that it might be going down a tick here to the 8.5 because we've got this 9 is where it opened up. We have 80% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the over 9. Yet it's even money on the 9. It's slightly juiced to the under. So just a little overall breakdown for you guys there as far as the cash flow, the splits, and where our crew is at. Speaking of Daddy Cab, he got his Vladdy cash. Now we just need Mike to cash his half. Let's go. Let's go. We'll talk about that game here momentarily. Peter Gracia says no touch game 2. I agree. You know, if you skip the first game and you wanted to try to extract it in the second, so be it. But our guy Coin dropping this little 3-team trade involved earlier today. Fetty and Fan to St. Louis. Edmund to the Dodgers. White Sox are unloading whatever decent players they got. Not all of them. The asking price is stiff for Crochet, and I don't think they will get any buyers in the market. I think that's why they had to go. It's a 3-team trade between those boys, and I thought there was one player missing from that equation, but nonetheless, it's trade deadline week, so keep your eyes and ears open. JP's, he says the White Sox are 0-6 at home on Monday. How about that? Kopech, that's the other one. I knew there was one more guy. I knew there was one more. Kopech. That was like saying, hey, you got an option. We can give you a bunch of used cleats and beat up baseballs, or you can have Michael Kopech. And they were like, wow, how many baseballs are you going to give us? Wasn't enough, so they decided to go with Kopech instead. And Perky Bumps in the house. What's up, Perky? Guardians in a big pitching advantage tonight against this Detroit team. That's the other 640 start. Line moved from minus 105 for Detroit to plus 140. 31% of the bets and 52% of the cash on Detroit. Big movement out there. And the 7s have moved to 7.5. Interesting game out there. Baby 8-4 with a 3.5 ERA. There's no action for me there. Cubs and Reds. I was leaning to the Reds. I wanted to pull the trigger. 47% of the bets and 64% of the cash on the Cubs, but 50-50 basically on the cash and the tickets for the total on the over and the under. Marginal movement, maybe shaded slightly to the over. Let's talk about some action, though. I did mention that Jeff taking a swing here with this Minnesota Twins team, and I'm doing a little bit of the same. I'm going to go at it, albeit in a little bit of a different approach here. I've got a double dipper for me in this game here. I like the runs. I like to see some scoring here. Both these teams, you know, we'll talk about it in just a second, but we look at these two pitchers. We see Jose Quintana with a 4.03 ERA, 5-6 on the season. Woods Richardson, elite prospect, 3.27 ERA, 3-1 on his season. Minnesota Twins. You know, Dabby had talked about this earlier today. These teams that get going in bunches. When it gets hot, everybody gets hot. They lift each other up. And Minnesota Twins are very much one of the forefront of that process. 58-46 on the season is really a hell of a run. And I didn't know that they were going to have all those pieces to kind of make that run as the season started. So I don't want to go put the regression brush on them, but 2-1 in that series against Detroit. It feels like the Twins in Detroit and the Twins in Cleveland. Those three teams play each other. It just feels like an ungodly amount. The Twins did win 5-0 that last game. 7-2 lost the game before that, but 9-3. And I referenced those three games particularly in that series because for me, the assessment comes down to Royce Lewis coming back. We've talked about him before. I mentioned that when this guy comes back in the lineup, for whatever reason, he is very much that straw that stirs the drink. We look at this team overall and kind of what's been going on with these guys here. First of all, I broke this thing down. I looked at the over. Start there. Both sides of these bats between the Mets and the Twins have been heating up. This one has to do specifically with how strong the numbers are when the Twins face left-handed pitching. Left-handed pitchers who average less than 92 pitches and more than 0 hits allowed. 17-0 to the over in that spot for this Minnesota Twins team. Huge over opportunity out there. Then I was looking at the Twins. I could totally see where Jeff's side coming in there and saying he just kind of likes this twin spot. Dogs, 24-3 versus a lefty on a team they lost to in that last meeting. So the lefty and the bounce back effects very much in play for this Minnesota Twins team. And the fact that 24-3 dog spot has a lot to do with the starter pitcher coming off that quality start is why I specifically wanted to isolate this Minnesota Twins team on the first 5. I thought minus 105. I mean, you can get, I think Minnesota goes out there and handles business. Woods Richardson, 88 innings, 3.27 ERA, ranked 66th overall in Major League Baseball at his walk rate, 61% in hard hit rate allowed, 53% in average exit velocity. So kind of middle of the pack, still developing all that nastiness that goes into being an elite pitcher. But this one to me just has to do with pulling the trigger on Quintana. Not a fan. I think in this spot here, especially seeing that big trend out there, the Twins are raking. You guys mentioned this in the chat earlier. It doesn't surprise me, the sharpness of this chat. WRC plus, the Twins rank 4th. They're 5th in OBA over the course of the entire season. They're 5th in slugging percentage, 5th in ISO, 7th in OBP. The 10th best strikeout rate in Major League Baseball means Quintana's going to have his hands full tonight. I think as far as the Mets are concerned, the big thing for the Mets, the inconsistency that their bats produce. You know, we see Pete Alonso and the gang, and Pete Alonso, most of these guys coming out of this home run derby still haven't found their groove and been able to grind things out. That dog spot that I mentioned, though, in the bounce back is almost 4 runs per game. And exactly why I wanted to say, okay, give me this first 5. Bullpen tax factors. I've heard some of you guys talking about that as well. And I don't disagree. I just think that we do see some runs. So Markel says he took the Twins full game. And Jerry Davis says he went Twins and Twins team total over 4.5. I can get down with all of that. Transcanna says, if you want to get rich quick, then wager against Skeens tonight. Astros money. We'll be talking about that. And Coin says, turn around the move from Toronto to Seattle. Man, why couldn't they have done that all in one swoop? Why'd they have to go back there? And maybe they kind of said, all right, let's get this one out there. And then now after we give you a trade and we give you, or I guess it was a Rosarania that they ultimately picked up. But look at the Seattle team on the move. That'll lead me into the Seattle-Boston game. So let's do just that. Let's take this opportunity to advance this thing along. Let me move this over. And you'll see here, Logan Gilbert on the bump for this Seattle Mariners team. On the other side of things, we got Nick Pivetta with that 4.5 ERA. And as far as this line, you know, we just talked about the Sunday night factor. Used to be that those teams were fades and that we would see the unders cash. But I believe this season, those metrics are definitely on their head. They're upside down right now. Boston has moved from minus 118 to slight move to minus 120. Correlated move on the Seattle side from plus 100 to plus 105. We have 75% of the bets on the Red Sox, 55% of the cash on the Mariners. This 8's moved to 8.5. 72% of the bets and 73% of the cash on the over. I mentioned these pitchers. I mentioned their ERAs. What I didn't mention is how I choose to attack this game. Let me throw that up on the big screen here. And this one comes down to, a couple of factors. The trade deadline issues, the players and the pieces on the move for Seattle does 2 things. One, I believe has the tendency to fuck with some of these guys' heads a little bit. They're not excited. Maybe some of their friends are getting moved on out. Also, you're bringing in some big bat pieces in there in a Rosarania, what we're hearing out there with some of these other guys like, across this Toronto spot. And that tells me that there's probably some apprehension now. Not only are they upset that their friends have potentially been traded, they're not sure their position. It's a lack of confidence is what happens. The organization's making some signals that they're making some trade pieces out there and they're trying to get their rosters right. And it usually takes a while for everybody to kind of heal from that storm of that trade movement, meaning, that once they see that, okay, you're no longer on the trade block. Now you're secure in your position. 2 weeks after the trade deadline is usually when we start to see those types of things kind of readjust themselves. And also it takes some time to find the swagger. When I was looking at this game here, I'll start with Boston. Favorites, the dog or small favorite as constituted by less than minus 130 are 32-2 if the starter lost the last 2 starts. There's that number 2 again. We've talked about teams on a 2-game win streak. We've talked about teams on a 2-game losing streak. Now we're specifically looking at Slick Nick and a potential to bounce back. Terrible at Coors Field. Shit the absolute bet on that thing out there. But the reality behind this one here is this Seattle lineup, a couple things going on. 1, injuries. 2, trade deadline. 3, an elevated strikeout rate, 28.4% strikeout rate right now. All spots that suggest, especially when we see that pitchers do bounce back in that dog or small favorite role, that we see just that. Logan Gilbert, okay, inconsistent. Just not getting support when he goes out there from, we talk about schemes and not getting run support. Logan Gilbert likes to pitch to some contact, and yet he's been in a situation where he's just got no defense the last couple of times out. His last time out, still played well, but just errors and ugliness. The Red Sox lineup, you guys had talked about this earlier, loaded with lefties. Gilbert's done a decent job minimizing that damage. But Boston still has almost a 23.5% strikeout rate as well. To me, those two pieces fit together. 1, we got the bounce back spot for the starter in Pivetta, 32-2. 2, we've got Gilbert shoving, but his defense not playing along with him. So we got a couple of factors here with higher strikeout potentials. I'm isolating this one in the first 5 to the under 4.5. This was 5. So it has come down of note. Also, I'm looking at that Red Sox team here. Why can't they keep it going? Yeah, they had that bad spot there yesterday against the Yankees to finish off that series. But, man, their bat has been finding the ball. I suspected this case here because of those trade deadline pieces and the movement. Seattle goes out there and struggles. Maybe Boston falls into that same rank where they kind of start off slow against Gilbert. After we get into there and we start to see the bullpens, things I'd expect them to widen. And that's where I think Boston goes out there and handles the business. So I got the first 5. I got the under 4.5. I got the full game Boston. Dabby Cab, what are you new here? Dabby Cab, that is the shit list. That is the shit list on the left-hand side. Right now, there's only one team on the shit list. It is the LA Angels. And if you want to talk about why they continue to remain, you gotta earn your position on the shit list. Why are they still on the shit list? Yesterday, I had Oakland, and Oakland was up. And then the Angels came back, and they got me again. These fucking Angels. I can't get them off the shit list. We'll see who else goes on the shit list here. This week, we might have a new candidate to get out there, but always open for the discussion. Smoke Amir says, Marshawn may be there, so we don't get fined, but I'm right here to make that money. Make that money, says our guy Smoking Mirrors. Jerry Davis says, Pavetta's so bad at home so far, though. The double bounce back spot, the double loss bounce back spot is that 32-2 run. And it's a reasonable, as bad as he is, as poor as he's been performing, and as much as these pieces, look at this line. That screams suspect spot. Not for Boston, in my opinion. It screams suspect spot for Seattle, especially seeing what they've done. Peter Grassi says, true, Mike. Sox K's, Devers pressing now too. I do think these guys are, going to chase it a little bit more here. They're going to try to make some things happen early in the series and try to get that comfort underneath there so they can start playing around with adjustments in the lineup as they near the deadline. Voodoo Ranger giving us a little look out there. Where'd it go? The hell? As soon as I click on it, it goes away. He's got Buxton. 2+ bases at +115 for our guy Voodoo Ranger on that twin spot out there. All right, let's keep going because I want to make sure we get time for you guys with this player prop parlay. Let's keep it rolling here, you guys. I talked a little bit about this one earlier today. I don't like it less. I like it even more. We look at this Texas Rangers St. Louis spot out there. Let me change this on the screen. Let's go into it. We've got a spot where the Cardinals are starting to become small favorites. I mean, we still got a favorite in the Texas Rangers. They've gone from -126 to -112. The line sort of flipped, though. The Cardinals were +108, now -104. 56% of the bets, 72% of the cash on the Texas Rangers. This line dropping. I saw somebody in the chat commenting on the under 8.5. 69% of the bets, 68% of the cash on the over. Yet the line has come down a half a run. Evaldi with the 3.31 ERA. Belante with the 3.92 ERA, 54 and 52. I talked about this one earlier. I'll drop it on the screen again for you guys. Gave this out earlier, but this line has gotten fucking clobbered right now. So I'm going to share this with you guys as a player prop potential. I got it earlier. I gave it out at minus 120. This thing has been steamed. 5.5 now are some plus money spots out there. And those kind of go together to me. Eovaldi and this under, seeing this under starting to drop down, does kind of look like shove candidacy here. Specifically as I was looking at the Texas side of the house, their bats coming to life. Not the best as of late, but closed that first half before the All-Star break. Firing. We know what they did against that Houston Astros in a must-win series. They went out there and they handled business. They're not striking out. They got a K rate that's under 19% over the last 7 days. They haven't been chasing. They're finding their rhythm. They're taking calculated decisions as to when they're swinging the bat, and that should be a problem for Andre Palante. On the other side, I think St. Louis, trade candidacy galore. This roster just stinks of old dudes, old shriveled up balls. Shout out to Big Daddy. We look at this thing here. Contreras, Arenado, Gorman, I guess, even Newbar. Newbar is fucking injury. He's one swing away from pulling another hammy. Donovan used to be kind of that guy early in the season that made things happen as well, but now we look at Eovaldi. We see that this K prop is swinging up. It's moving up to 5.5s. And we see a huge whiff rate against righties from the St. Louis Cardinals team. I love this first 5 spot for Texas. I don't want to mess with the full game again in this spot here because, as we mentioned with some of that Texas-Toronto shit, we see that these boys kind of die out when it comes down to it here. And also, from a full game perspective, the Texas Rangers are 0-11 when they're on the road in a series opener, and they're not a favorite of minus 145 or greater. Kind of fading that 0-11. Now, I'm comfortable fading that 0-11 to start this thing out, specifically because we just talked about the lack of performance from the bats in St. Louis. We talked about Eovaldi shoving, potentially. And once we get to that 10 spot, I start to look for concern or opportunity to get on the other side of this thing. So this line, slightly on the uptick now. There's some minus 130s out. There's still a ton of minus 120s for the Texas first 5. That's the other piece that Dabby Cab has tied in to his Guerrero bet. And I believe, I can't recall if he said he got Eovaldi in there or not, but I do believe that he's going to be rooting on this first 5 with me. We'll see what happens here. Jerry Davis says, I got Seattle. First 3 plus 118. First 5, it's now plus 106. Talk about wasteful to get a road series against Houston to turn around and get swept by Toronto. Yeah, that's bad. It says, wow, that's an interesting Texas stat. Trying to give you guys the numbers that I find. I couldn't find shit for the Cardinals side of things. So nothing to support or rescind my decision to jump in on this Texas side of things. But numbers for the game. We got 2 more baseball games to get into for you guys here. And I want to make sure that we get this RBI prop out there because the first play will start at 7. So we want to make sure we get moving. Let's keep rolling. And we look at this Kansas City White Sox spot there. Now, we did talk about Marsh and being a regression candidate, and we faded his ass his last start, and we reaped the profit. Flexing. We'll talk about these numbers in a minute. This line opened up as the Royals minus 158 road favorites, has moved to minus 166. 84% of the bets and 95% of the cash on the Royals. This total went from 8.5 to 9.5. 62% of the bets and 68% of the cash on the over. Huge movement. Anytime we see that full run, you guys know I get a little antsy. And antsy, in fact, I am in this game. A couple things that I looked at. And first of all, flexing. 14 straight losses for flexing. Starters who have lost 14 or more are 5-8 overall. But the key component there is 10, 2, and 1 to the over. So you'll see how I chose to attack this game here. Divisional dogs, first game of the series are 1-12 on the run line. They're getting busted up by over 3 runs a game if they either got swept the last series or they won the last game by a run. Also suggest playing on this Kansas City team at -1.5. I wanted to see if I could find this one stat for you guys, though. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm not going to be able to find it as quickly as I was hoping. It's crazy because it was a stat showing this White Sox team potentially being able to go out there and get it. Just bear with me one more second. Let's see if I can find it. For anybody that does care about this type of stuff, I certainly do. I certainly look at these numbers. Fuck, I can't find it. Shit. I just missed it because it's the White Sox. And I didn't want to get in there. This one here for you guys, though, pretty short, sweet, and to the point. We'll just make this one real simple for you guys. This is a Kansas City in the over 9 for me. Not going to mess around with the -1.5. I got this down to 9, so I kind of caught the middle of this line movement out there. So it's a same game parlay for me with Kansas City and the over 9. It's +152. Here we go. The Royals on the road, a total greater than 8 when they're playing the White Sox in the first game of a series. So this one's specific. Kansas City versus the White Sox on the road, a total over 8. Kansas City's 0-11. And they're losing by 3.4 runs a game. 0-11. I just can't do it. I'm not going to fuck around with that -1.5. Give me KC. Give me the over 9. Maybe this is the don't overthink it, but your grandma is very much wearing your sister's panties again. And it's the play of the day at +152 in that spot there. I know I'm just sharing with you guys those numbers. Listen, 0-11, specifically first game of the series, the Royals on the road with a total over 8 against these White Sox. They don't fare well in these spots, which is why I chose to go with this angle here. I can't put my money on the White Sox. This 0-14 spot, I can't do it. I just can't get into it. There we go. There's Dabby Cab. This Rangers bet was the Rangers money line Seager over 1.5 bases and Evaldi over 4.5 Ks at +423 for Dabby Cab. So, and then he says Vladdy was bet individually with the Marte RBI. So, anyhow, you guys heard it here first. Whether or not you buy into some of these trends here, if this thing's tied, and you don't take that Kansas City in the over, maybe you look the line back. The run line's 1-10. Kansas City on the run line in those spots. So the +1.5, I can't do it. They have the White Sox could we've been making tons of cash with these guys in the first fives and the unders, and I don't know. I can't do it tonight. I can't do it. I want to do it. I can't do it. Give me the +152 money there. That's just too good to be true. And I'm going to go with that spot. Here we go. Last game on the card. And then we'll talk about this prop parlay for you guys. This +1450 to close things off. Put the bow on the show. We got Skeens Day. You guys know the deal. The guy's been firing. Certainly coming off his first loss out there. This line opened up disgusting. The Pirates -158 because it's Skeens Day. Now -129. 66% of the bets and 55% of the cash love Skeens Day. They love them. Everybody knows it's Skeens Day out there. Let's hammer them. And yet the lines come down almost 30 cents. It's almost 20% reduction considering it's Skeens Day. Think about that for a minute. 20% less than where this line opened up. And not everybody, but the majority are popping in on Pittsburgh. This total, 7.5. Juice to the under slightly. We're starting to see some 7s out there. 88% of the bets and 84% of the cash on this over. Yet we're popping down. Let's look at some Skeens numbers here. 7-1-4. Pittsburgh is first 5 in season starts this year with Skeensy. 7-1-4. He's only allowing 1.16 runs per first 5 out there. Also, only allowed 6 runs across his last 7 first 5 starts. He's mowing them down for sure. Only loss came in just recently, of course. And then we look on the other side of things here. Home dogs, them Stros. They're 7-0 at home in a series opener, this Astros team. And their average win run 3.48 runs per game. Astros to start the series off. Now, you got 20% movement against the Pirates, and everybody knows it's Skeens Day. Line's dropping significantly. The Astros open up series, kicking ass, making a name for themselves. But we got Bloss on the bump. I don't know. It's going to be a tricky spot, but I got to take the plus money. I said this earlier today on our boy Dabby's show. This is not a situation where you get rich by playing these Pirates. Win or lose, it's not the right side. They just don't have the bats to support this consistency. Skeens, the tape is out. Can he still go out there, rock it down, and make some things happen? Sure. I don't suspect he does. Ice Viking says KC in the over 9.5 is plus 190 on bet 365. Yeah, I took it down to 9, Ice Viking, because the 9 is key number in baseball. So when it looks at the total with that key number for the 9 to me, it gives us that wiggle that if it does happen to fall on 9, then we can still cash that Kansas City spot, and it won't be glorious, but it should still be enough. And Voodoo Ranger likes Devers home run plus 340, Lubob home run plus 300. Not mad at Lubob or Benintendi. Benintendi, I think, are some other looks on this thing as well. But for me, I think this team at home to start the series off, looking at that 7-0 streak. I know the numbers don't support a Bloss situation out there, but this number's come down. Plus 134, plus 110s predominantly across the board now. So this thing has moved even with this money coming in as we get closer to first pitch. This thing is still moved. And it's moved enough for me to say I'm on this team. I think this is a good spot. I don't care if we're still in a situation. There are no CLV trophies. Take the win. Move the fuck on. Jerry Davis says Pirates hitting 198 against right-hand. That's what I'm saying. What, just because it's Skeens, they're going to go out there and win? Come on. That's fair. Stop it. Stop it with the Skeens shit. Can he go out there and shove? Sure. But look, 6.5. His numbers come down from 7.5 to 6.5 now. I don't know about all that. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying into it. I'm not dealing with it. But I am dealing with this for you guys here. Little treat. Little treat this is the why not us opportunity here. Let me get this comment down and let's look at this why not. Jesus, what do we got going on here? Fuck it. There we go. There we go. We got a little 3-leg RBI spot. The ribeye play of the day is Ketel Marte. I talked about it. I'll talk about it again. Royce Lewis and Hunter Renfroe plus 1450. 3-leg RBI prop placed on DraftKings. Ketel Marte. Let's go down the numbers here. Home run machine right now. His last 15 games, for kind of the pokes out there that like to look at a wider sample, 40% home run success rate in his last 15 games. His last 10 games, 50%. Smaller sample, greater increase. His last 5 games, 60%. Ketel Marte smacking that ball right now. He's hitting 321 his last 30 games, 587 slug percentage. Guy is just crushing it right now. Exit velocity, sweet spot, hard hit percentages, everything in this guy ranks 61st and 94th across Major League Baseball percentiles here. It's a hot roster. They can certainly go out there and execute. And I think Ketel Marte is a great opportunity. Not only that, but you can look at his home run props if you want to play these individually. The 145 was the number. I got it this morning at 150. It dropped down to 145. Let me take a look and see what the best number still is out there for our guy, Ketel Marte. Not sure how I would feel if I was named Ketel, but that's a different story. Plus 390 is the best number for the home run prop. And his RBI floating between plus 150 and plus 145. So a little bit of reverse movement now. He's moved kind of back against him in that spot out there. Then we look at player number 2. Let's talk about Royce Lewis. I mentioned him earlier. I might have an affinity for Royce Lewis here. We talked about it the last time he came back and those bats got together and got firing that Minnesota Twins team. But what's marred this guy's career has been fucking injuries. He's played only 27 games this year. But in those 27 games. 11 home runs, 20 RBIs, a 1.3 WAR rate, activated over the weekend. Since he's come back, he's got 3 hits. He knocked down a homer in 2 games against Detroit. He's 12 for 28. Specifically, when we look at how he plays out there against left-handed pitchers, he's got 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Again, in that 27-game sample, the lefty side of things is even less. Be the first time that he does go out there against Jose Quintana, who struggles against righties. 15 doubles, 13 home runs. Big opportunity. Plus 450 for Lewis's home run. Plus 175 for Lewis's RBI. Let me just double check and see what that number looks like now as well. Let's just give you guys a current read report here. And as we look at it, plus 500 for the home run. I'm only specifically looking at the RBIs, though. Plus 175 has now ticked down to 170s in a couple of markets as well. So BetMGM still has a plus 175, as does DraftKings. And let's bring it home with this third guy tonight. Taking a little stab here. I'm going to go with a little Hunter Renfroe. Specifically, better numbers than Bobby Witt as far as the RBIs are concerned in terms of the payout right now. Chris Flexen, we just mentioned the situation here with the 0-14. We talked about the over trend for this game as well. And Hunter Renfroe. No success, 6 at-bats, no hits against Chris Flexen, who's been getting mashed right now. It's like a sleepover at never mind. It's not good. It's not good for Chris Flexen, as we talked about there. Then we look at this thing specifically, though, and lefty-righty stats out there. You know, he's hitting a 241 against righties. We look at Flexen, 272 against lefties is important because 2 of the 3 guys in front of him are lefties in that batting order right now. Huge opportunity. Last but not least, Renfroe. 5 straight RBIs, 5 straight games against the White Sox. Big opportunity out there. That O's got to go against either Chris Flexen or if it's the bullpen, which is where we've seen them melt down time and again. Being in the top half of the order, we should get at least 4 at-bats from this guy. And I parlayed all 3 of those together. It's a nice plus 1450. Now, if we hit this thing, we'll do more of this stuff here. I don't want to just arbitrarily suggest anybody gives it away, but there's been some nice boosts out there between FanDuel and DraftKings right now to take advantage of. So I did just that at 1450. I like a little opportunity there. I like all 3 of those RBIs, so read between the lines. But to me, that's a good opportunity to get us paid. Ricky Bobby says, damn, FanDuel have that game locked, huh? Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe. Isn't he on the Raiders? Isn't he in jail? I don't know. Is he in jail? I'm not sure. Voodoo Ranger says Witt home run, Perez home run, sprinkle plus 220. Smoke Amir says taking KC first 5 team total over 2.5. That's probably the best look of the entire card right there. Smoke. That would probably be the best look on the whole thing there, you guys. But that's going to do it for us, you guys. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with us tonight. Trans Canada says, I have the X tape on Skeens and Livy. I charge $5 per view. Shit. Hit me up. I'd be interested in seeing that. I love you guys, man. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us tonight. We got ourselves a lot of work to do this week. We got a lot of things popping up. We got Olympic coverage. We're going to get Olympic golf shot for you guys. Look, sometimes they don't want it. Then they see it's good and they take it back. But that don't mean that we can't go out there and give you guys a golf breakdown with none other than our golfing connoisseur. Comes out here on Thursdays. I'll sneak peek it like that. We got ourselves a lot of action to get to tonight, you guys. We got UFC again this week. Keep in mind, it's early Saturday. Get that honey-do list done early this week so you can come out there and party with us on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got First Strike coming out Wednesday. We got all kinds of things crushing down the pipeline for you guys. Be on the lookout. Make sure you subscribe to Sports Money if you haven't done so already. Spread the word. We're trying to grow this thing. We're trying to get there. We want to keep it growing, keep bringing in new content for you guys, all the things that you will enjoy. And we're always open. So hit me up on X. Tell me if there's something you guys are looking for, concepts or conversations that you guys want to have as we move into the NFL, the college football season. as we move into the NBA and the NHL, we're here to give you guys what it is you're looking for. We'll scrub the card when you guys don't have the time to do it so that we can give you guys those best bets to get paid. And I appreciate you guys all hanging out tonight here. I hear that Houston game is off the board. That is very interesting. Let's see what happens in that spot there, but I don't see it on the board. Houston spot is off the board. My guess at this point. Trade news situations going on out there, but I appreciate everybody, man. Shout out to Ice Viking, Peter Gracia, Dominic Diaz, Jerry Davis, Voodoo Ranger, Nasty Nate, Smoking Mirrors, Ricky Bobby, Robert Franklin in the house, Justin McCalvey with the Stacks play of the day, Stephen Hairston, Red Bearded Chick in the house. Got some plus 185s out there. I love you guys sharing all this action. Perky Bump in the chat. My guy, good to see you back and rolling. Old E, Trans Canada, Dabby Cab, Deer Slayer Ski, Juggler 23, Sancho. Man, I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us here on the regular. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Support the cause. You make some money. It's okay to throw a shout out there on X and say, shout out to Sports Money. We love seeing that kind of stuff. Love hearing you guys making that money. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Back and at it again, 6 p.m. Best goddamn pregame show you could find out there. It's Pregaming. Good luck with all your